Okay, welcome to our Wednesday night interviews with the Basement Door. This week we've got Paul Noodle. Welcome, Paul Noodle. Can you just introduce yourselves, tell us what you do in the band and what your name is?
I'm Bo. I play guitar and sometimes I do vocals.
I'm Rafi. I play drums.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm Zana. I play guitar and I do vocals.
I'm Leia and I'm the bassist and sometimes do backup vocals.
Cool. Okay. So we haven't had you for a gig. We were scheduled to get you for a gig earlier this year where you were going to come in, and we were sort of quite looking forward to seeing you all. And it just obviously lockdown happened and it didn't happen yet. But we will get you in to do a gig. We want to see you playing. And I'm sure there's lots of people, especially in our area, want to see you playing as well. You're from North London. And so you've been to, I think it's one of you said you've been down to, how many of you been down to Basement Door gig before?
It was me and Zana.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it?
It was really
yeah,
good.
it was great.
It's good, yeah. We like to enjoy ourselves at them. So for the people watching now who don't know you, you probably have some viewers coming up, but what's your genre of music? What would you describe it as?
We're sort of like punk, indie, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And
Take our inspiration.
how long's the band been together?
Like I think we started like last September, I think. So almost a year now.
Okay, that's quite young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did a little an EP recently, which we promoted for you as well. And who does the drawings for your stuff? Because the artwork's quite cool. It's like
So
for what's it called? What qualifies as essential? The background for that is Bo's drawing, but then the guitar is like it was both mine and Bo's kind of
cool.
Put into one, and then the other two were like drawings that my brother did that I stole from him and used for our covers. So yeah.
Yeah. The Eugene cover was drawn with a 3D pen.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay, yeah. It was quite interesting seeing sort of like a lot of the covers because there are sort of similar, like just can I say amateur drawings?
Yeah.
And then there are the sort of like the really high definition sort of stuff, and then there's the really artistic spectrum of stuff. Everyone fits into this sort of like what you do, but I think your covers and stuff like that, what you're doing is, and your style of music that quite fits that sort of like, I'd say chaotic.
Yeah, I think it captures the sort of DIY of our band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you are you saying you got like a bass, so Leia plays bass now? Do you play other instruments, or you just sort of like you stick to your instrument that you've got at the moment?
Originally we'd swap around a lot, but now we're sticking very heavily to our instruments.
I was originally a pianist. I used to play like classical music for like 8 years or something, and then I stopped and picked up guitar instead.
Yeah, good choice. Although piano is a fantastic foundation for anyone that's playing instruments. A really good foundation, piano. Yeah. You understand a lot of theory.
Knowledge. Yeah.
So are you all sort of planning to sort of like you're doing music at school, I take it?
No, I'm doing product design, geography and sociology at my 3 A levels.
Okay. Leia?
My A levels are chemistry, biology and maths.
Okay. Rafi?
I'm doing 4. I'm doing physics, maths, politics, and DT.
Okay, and Zana?
I'm doing English, classics, and film studies.
Wow, so nothing to do with music at all.
I think.
I think the reason
really
good band.
The reason I didn't want to do music, and I think quite a lot of people that I know sort of don't want to do music as a GCSE or as an A level, is because the curriculum is so formalized, and you could argue a bit dated. That I think if I did music, at least, I think it would become sort of a chore. And sort of to keep that sort of spark and that love of music alive, I sort of had to do it in my own time and not have it regulated by a school.
Quite agree, yeah. I've got a friend who teaches music and she's an incredible teacher to a very high standard. I think she's got a 99.5% success rate with her pupils, but she struggles with the curriculum that's set by the boards, and it's like, but she teaches it in her way, and she's got much more success with it. I think she really engages her young people and children in the music in an entirely different way.
I guess that just shows that the school system is just a bit meh.
Yeah, well, I think school system for me has always been it's always been a bit of a sausage factory mentality with the curriculum that schools set because of the way that industry and economy works. So when I was at uni, I read Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed, which is a fantastic book to read. He was really majoring in sort of like thinking about how we treat an individual person and how we educate an individual person according to what their giftings are and what they actually connect with, how they connect with the world. Unfortunately, he ended up having to fit into the system to live. So he's a university lecturer out in Canada, I think, somewhere now. But for years and years and years, he fought the system to say it needs to change, and it's a great book. Yeah, it's a difficult read, but it's a good book. So anyway,
I mean, I guess that's what Zana means in 1984 when it's the capitalist death machine.
Yeah. Well, obviously you're quite young. You probably read some history, but I remember when I was at school and stuff, and there was a lot more of woodwork, metalwork, stuff, less of the sciences, I think. And the reason for that was that obviously our industry, we had a steel industry, we had a coal industry. There was more sort of like that mentality of work rate and what we did. And then I've seen it changing into this sort of like the way that young people learn, and the way that what they're taught at school is this is getting very quite a serious thing now, isn't it? It's supposed to be lighthearted, but I've seen it change in the way the economics of the country have changed, the way we actually operate our economic system. That the bankers and the offices and the admins and all that sort. That's what's being developed now, and you see it. And like I said, that's why I think it's just sausage factory mentality, and rather than investing in people. But you guys are brilliant, and you need to keep on kicking the trends and doing the things you want to do. It's good. Right. So we're going to ask you a couple of quick questions. Where's my phone? A couple of quick questions, and then we're going to go and hear one of your songs. And it's one of the ones off the EP you released, which was when did you release that? 2 months ago, 3 months? 2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago, isn't it? We've had so many. I've done so many things online here. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Right. So now I've got this. I repeat this every week, but I've got a theory. So who's the best dancer? This might be a bit tricky, actually. This one with you guys. Who's the best dancer in the band?
A horrible dancer. I'm out of this.
I was going to say Leia.
I was going to say Leia as well.
Okay. Just because I'm Brazilian doesn't mean I'm a good dancer. Okay.
I feel like Raffi could be like secretly talented.
If I am secretly talented at dancing, I don't show it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you need to, because the general theory I'm building is that drummers seem to be the ones that, out of most of the bands interviewed, are the best dancers, and I think it's to do with the coordination and the beats and stuff. So next time you're out there, Raffi, show your stuff, man. Let's see what you got. All right?
Yeah, got it. Definitely, I'll do my best.
Now, I don't know how much time you haven't had time to rehearse for the last couple of months, but before that, who was always late to rehearsal? Or more late than everybody else?
Zana, every time.
He's like half an hour late every time.
Yeah.
Half an hour. Okay, right, Zana, that's your chance now, Zana. You're going to tell us why you're half an hour late each time.
Yeah, we'd like an explanation too.
I've just...
I can't be asked.
I see time. I don't...
You have
I don't know. I just think it won't take as long. Like, I just am. I don't know. I have no excuse.
We need to start telling you the rehearsals are earlier so that you can make it.
We did that once and it actually worked.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
it?
Yeah, no,
Oh my
we were like,
Make a separate group chat without me so you can tell each other the actual time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me it's earlier.
Okay. Now the other one we've got is like, let's see. Who's best dancer? Who's always late? It might be the same person, but who's likely to forget about rehearsal?
Either
Leia,
Zana or
probably.
Leia.
Probably me, actually.
Okay.
I thought Leia was going to forget about this interview. I was frantically
Oh,
calling her.
really?
Yeah, he was calling me and freaking out. It was,
Yeah.
you have no faith in me.
Cool. Okay. Right. Let's go and listen to your song now. Who's going to tell me what the song's called that you're going to have?
Should we go for 1984?
Yeah.
Sure.
We were talking about it.
Be appropriate, wouldn't it? And we'll have
Go ahead.
a better chat with it after. Okay. Let's go and listen to 1984 by Paul Noodle. Back in a sec. There we go. So that's 1984 by Paul Noodle. Now, where can people find that EP?
Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, it's not on SoundCloud, but it's on like most Apple Music.
Just wherever you get your songs.
Amazon Music?
Probably.
Maybe.
I'll just check then. I'm going to check now because it's like.
Well, let's hope it's on.
I just better check and see if it's actually on Amazon because I don't pay for Spotify, but I do have Amazon Prime, which has all the stuff on it. So Paul Noodle. It's come up. Oh, yes. There we go.
Oh.
Yes.
It's there.
For a good band.
So the artists. Paul Noodle. Okay. Yeah, so there we are. Paul Noodle is on Amazon as well. There we go. All right. So I shall just make sure I get all those sorted out. It's a really nice drawing, that, isn't it? I like that. I've seen that somewhere before. Anyway, right. So yeah, that's good. So what's 1984? Tell us what 1984 is all about. So who's going to tell us that?
Zana.
I guess me. I wrote the song. So it's about. I'm just trying to remember the lyrics. It's about like how much we hate capitalism, I guess.
I think
Put it in
from
short.
what you told me, it's like about like escapism and like trying to
because
get out of
it.
it.
like, so from the day we're born, we're like minions for capitalism, right? It's like about trying to escape that cycle, kind of. But then we can't, because then we wouldn't be able to live.
There are some communities that exist, which I've seen, which work very effectively, and people are very happy. But I think to do that, you have to be in a small community, because the bigger community you get, it becomes society, and then you have to follow the rules that someone who leads puts down, and that's not fair on everyone. So there are if you work in a small communities, I think it works really well to be away from capitalism, and it can work. So don't give up hope; it can work. And I think we started on a linear monetary system so many years ago that it's just so far out of kilter now that we're trapped. And
late stage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think. I mean, I've been sitting here at home thinking like, right, there's no planes going over. Oh, we've lost. Oh, you're back. Okay. I've
Sorry.
been thinking there's no planes going over, and the world is healing quickly. Really, I mean, that was amazing the way the world healed so fast. Not completely, but it's the changes that happen when all these planes stop flying and the industry stopped working. It's incredible. You think would we learn from that? I think people would, but those ones at the top, those 1% people, they won't. They just want the money. They don't care. And
Yeah.
it's a shame. It's a real shame. So anyway, we've gone a bit serious again, haven't we?
Yeah,
But
this
that's
keeps
the whole
getting really
idea.
dark.
That's the whole idea of punk. Change the world. Do something different. Okay, so and you've read? Have you all read George Orwell's 1984? Or yeah,
Yeah.
Leia?
Leia hasn't.
You got some homework to do.
I just haven't read it.
Well, that's your you need to do that. Then you need to read that book. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's great.
Really out there, yeah. So back to a couple. We have a question that we ask all the bands, which is, if you had a pet snail, what would you call it? So we'll start with Leia, then we'll go to Zana, then Rafi, and then Bo.
Jimmy Bob.
Oh, that's cool. Jimmy Bob, love it. Okay. Zana?
I used to have 12 pet snails when I was little.
No, really?
Weird fact. Yeah.
What did you call them? January, February, March, April?
No, I can't really remember. I remember I named them after cartoon characters.
Okay.
So I would call my snail Daffy Duck. First cartoon character.
Daffy Duck the snail, brilliant. Go on, Rafi.
I'd probably call it Gary from SpongeBob, or I'd call it Speedy McFast.
Speedy McFast.
Speedy McFast. That's a good one.
Speedy McFast. Okay, that's cool. All right, Bo, it's down to you.
Well, I have this theme. Like, me and my brother, we name our pets after herbs. So my cat right now is called Parsley. Our old one was called Minty. So I think I'd name my snail Sage.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, that reminds me of the there used to be was it Parsley the lion, the herb
That,
garden
like,
when I was
70s
kids. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really good. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good program. Okay. Well, that's the snail question out of the way. We've done that one. So what are your ambitions as a band? What do you actually want to do as a band? What would you like to achieve?
I just want to gig and have fun, you know?
I just want to play gigs.
Yeah.
I think that's the right answer. I think that's what you want to do. And if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, as long as you enjoyed your time together, that's the main thing to do, is really enjoy what you're doing and just really, just like, you know. And I think, I mean, looking at you guys, I think I'm really longing to see you on stage, because I think it'd be quite energetic and quite fun.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
So, have you heard of Hive Mentality?
Yeah, I love them.
So that you remind me of them a little bit. It's sort of like that punky sort of edge, and that sort of like, and I love Hive Mentality. I think they're absolutely brilliant what they do.
Yeah.
Risky songs sometimes, but you know, it's like they're pretty cool. Well, we certainly want to get you down and get definitely a gig for you and everything.
Yeah, we want to be down.
Great.
So next sort of question then basically is, if you could play a venue or festival anywhere in the world, where would you wanna play? Do you want to do that individually, or do you want to answer as a collective?
I think straight away I'd probably say Ali Pali because it's right by my house and it's like I've just lived there and I'm like one day I'll play at Ali Pali.
Well,
I have to agree because first concert I ever went to was at Ali Pali and it was amazing, and I'd love to play there.
Yeah, same.
I think I'd quite like to play at Primavera in Barcelona festival. Just because I think it's such a good festival and it's such a nice atmosphere. My siblings have been there and I want to go there, but I was going to go this year, but then it got cancelled.
And it's sunny.
And it's sunny and it's just lovely and it's in a lovely place, and I'd just to be going there and playing music and just having a good time there is just a dream.
Great, isn't it? What about you, Zana?
I really don't know. I'm probably just gonna say Ali Pali because it's the only one I can think of. But yeah, I can't think of anything.
It'd be great to get a slot in there, wouldn't it? Even to get a support band. I met the guy who does a lot of the shows, and he does the Ali Pali one. So he's done a lot of. I think he's done Royal Blood and a few other people. He's up there and everything. So yeah, I need to make some more connections with him really, and just get a better friendship with him, I think. Because we've got down in Kingston, we've got John Tolley from Banquet Records, and I've known John for quite a few years, and obviously he's had like Stormzy and Billie Eilish, and he's had everyone down here at Kingston, which has been an incredible turnaround for Kingston music scene. And obviously Richmond's got its own music sound from the 60s and everything, and we've got like Pete on the Hill, and Mick Jagger was up there, and Ronnie Wood, and Ronnie Wood's son lives just down the road from me. And there's loads of people around here, just loads of them. So guy from Muse lives around here as well. So yeah, it's really cool.
We've got we got like Liam Gallagher around here somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his son has been down to Basement Door.
Oh really?
He just sounds just like his dad. Really sounds just like his dad. And some of the things he said, like about Manchester United and Manchester City football clubs, it was like, well, that's your dad speaking. It's just like him. But he said you should go to Manchester and do something like Basement Door in Manchester because they've got nothing up there for the kids. And it's like, yeah, I'd love to. One day we'd do it. But then his dad's got loads of money. I mean, he should do it, shouldn't he? It's like, or pay us to go up there. I don't mind either way. Yeah. Okay. So, right now, the next question. This might be another hard one for you to do. Band or a person to play with, your absolute bucket list person you would want to be on stage with. So should we go the other way around? We go like Bo, Rafi, Zana, and then Leia.
Maybe T-Rex, because I love just the outfits.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's what Mark used to do.
Yeah.
He's wicked, man. It's like, well, I've got a story about that, but I've got stories about everything. But I went to school with a girl called Susan who was going out with his chauffeur, and the day he died, it was his chauffeur's day off, and so my school friend was with the chauffeur on the day that he died and put the tree. And the tree, it's up in Barnes, just up the road here, where he wrapped the car around to the Mini. So yeah, next time you're down in Barnes, have a look, and you can go and see where he actually. It's a bit morbid, isn't it? Really, but bit of history. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing. I love T-Rex. Yeah, it's cool. Right, Rafi.
I can't decide between two. Either Johnny Marr. I'd love to play with Johnny Marr.
Okay.
Or Sports Team. Sports Team. I mean, they're a new band, and I just think they're absolutely insane, and I love them. I went to see them at the Nag's Head pub in Camberwell, and it was completely free. And they just put it out on their Instagram. All right, come to this pub. We'll play like a show, and it was absolutely packed, and it was a great time. And it only ended when the drummer got a severe head injury. It was brilliant.
They are lunatics, aren't they? They're a brilliant band, though. Really love them. Yeah. All right, Zana.
God, I don't know. I'd probably say off the top of my head, Surf Curse. I would love to play with them.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Surf Punks are great.
Yeah.
I'll have to look them up. I haven't heard of them, so I'll have to look them up. They're a good band, yeah?
Yeah. They're like sort of surf punk sort of thing.
Oh, cool. Okay, that sounds interesting. Cool. All right, Leia?
I can't decide between two either. I was gonna say Vampire Weekend because they're my favorite band. Absolutely love them, and
Nice.
the whole vibe is just really cool. But I also want to say NASCAR Aloe, even though I don't think anyone in the band would like him very much.
I don't know.
NASCAR Aloe, interesting.
Okay.
But the energy that goes into, you know, all of his songs and all of his shows is just phenomenal, and I'd love to be able to play in that kind of environment.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
think it'd
yeah,
be cool.
yeah. It's good. Energy's good, isn't it? I think when you can do, if you can get up on a stage and you can say, all right, I'm going here now. I've got like 2 hours or an hour, or even if you're doing your half-hour sets of Basement Door or whatever, just
Yeah.
pack it with energy. And it's just like the more fun. I think the more fun you like the sports team guys, the more fun you have on stage, the more fun your audience is going to have with you. You know, you've got to make it. You've got to really connect. And I know there's nerves there, and I know there's stuff like that and everything, but just I'm gonna say, I was gonna say fuck it, but it's like, but just, you know what I mean. Just get up there and do your stuff and just enjoy it. And
Yeah.
it's like that's that they're the I think they're the best bands to watch people like that, you know, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to end there. Thank you so much, Paul Noodle, for coming along, and I think we're giggling because we know what I said in the first place, aren't we? When I called you.
Oh.
Zana, come back. What are you
Sorry.
doing?
Sorry.
We haven't gone yet.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, thank you very much. We hopefully will be able to get you down to do a gig, and we're trying to plan.
Yeah.
The latest thing was like the latest. There's 5 stages. We've looked at there's 5 stages in the guidance for coming back to gigs, and at the moment we're on stage 2, which we can't complete. It's just about rehearsal and stuff like that and whatever. So
Yeah.
we're waiting to get down to stage 5, which I think is more likely going to be about September. So we have to go through the whole of July again, and then hopefully August, maybe September. And we
Okay.
hopefully we get some gigs done again and get really back into it, in the swing. 'Cause I
We'd
miss it
love to
so
be
much.
back.
Yeah.
Yes, it'd be fantastic to see you guys. Thank you very much for all you've done, and we'll put the links up in our description of the interview and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you want to say goodbye and give us a little wave, and then we'll switch off.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Okay, welcome to the second part of Wednesday interviews with the Basement Door, and we've got Pink Sheep, which is I don't know how many bands Tom's been in, but it's his 3rd or 4th band that we've done with him. So it's like, and we've got the wonderful Soul, with his lovely new haircut. Have you been to the barbers, Soul?
No, I haven't.
Really? It surprised me.
Be nice.
All right, I'll be nice. Okay. Okay, so Pink Sheep. So do you want to explain like what you do? Soul, what do you do in the band, and what do you do, Tom? So let's have Soul first. What do you do in the band?
I do vocals, melody, and then I'm a bit of I do lyrics as well. But I'm like a backseat driver, kind of, you know, the annoying backseat driver that I put in my input every now and then wherever I can say. I can't drive, but I put my input in wherever I can.
Yeah, same as me.
Tom's always kind of, shut up, I know what I'm doing. Oh, no, you do this, it's fine. He's like, I know what I'm doing. But yeah.
God, listen. So what do you do, Tom, as the driver?
Pretty much I write and produce most of the pretty much all the songs I produce. But I just sit down on my laptop, write a line, a couple chords or a line of melody that I quite like, and then just go from there and just fiddle with it over like a month or so, and then say, "Soul, do you like this?" And if he goes, "Yeah," then he's like, "Here's some lyrics," and yeah.
It's going to be interesting seeing what you develop out of this, because it's really, I think when you've got 2 people, it's quite easy. You can bounce off each other quite quickly with no. It must happen quicker. The songwriting must happen quicker.
Yeah.
Because if you've got
Yeah,
like a drummer and you've got a bassist and you've got this and it's everyone's got their input and it's like, oh man, we thought we were there and then we've gone back to square one to start again and everything. But with you two, it's probably quite quick sort of skill set, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool, man. So no gigs, you've done no gigs with Pink Sheep yet?
it's a quarantine band.
No.
It's a quarantine band.
That's what it started out as, a quarantine duo. We got bored and we're like, let's just record some vocals on an iPhone, send it over to Tom. He'll whack on the instrumental part, and then we thought, that sounds quite good. Maybe we'll take it on for more than a couple songs and keep it going.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Okay, so are you gonna? You're gonna gig. Are you gonna gig when quarantine's over? Or are you just gonna do it in quarantine and then drop the band?
I think. Well, it depends, because I sort of worked out how we could do it as a gig situation, but it just depends how it all goes, really.
I guess you're probably going to need. I guess you're probably going to need some sort of backing track to add into the mix, aren't you?
Well, that's it. Backing track, and we're kind of making sure most of our songs we can do acoustically. Like, it's doable for two people acoustically as well.
Yeah,
so
that'd be cool. Yeah.
A bit of dynamic between the two, but yeah, backing tracks is a new one for me and Tom live.
Yeah, it's quite good. It can work out quite well. I mean, I know sort of like. I think it's sometimes quite awkward when you've got a solo singer and they've got a backing track and they're singing to a backing track. It can be quite sort of awkward because it's sort of, you sort of want to feel the band there or whatever. But if there's two people and it's like, I mean, I've seen it work with. We had a band down that did. I don't know if you were there, Tom and Sol. They were a metal band, Away with the Seas.
Oh, I know what you're.
And they had all the sort of backing tracks and the technical stuff, and it didn't really. It needed some work to make sure that when you go in, you can plug in and you know exactly what you're doing. But it sounded good, but it's just like it needed a bit of work. And I think also another band did that as well. Pink Missiles did that as well, but I think they did it. They'd been practicing it a bit more, so they did it a bit better. But yeah, it's a quite an interesting sort of thing to do. So we'll get you down and do a gig with us. It'll be great when we go back to doing gigs, if we ever get back to doing gigs. Sort of waiting for this flipping lockdown to end and all these bits and pieces. There's a helicopter going over, so just wait a second. It's the army boys from Aldershot. They fly over here every night.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much. Good night. Bye bye. Go away. Why does the noise carry so long? It's like, yeah. So, Tom, you've been on here this is your fourth time on, I think, with us. So asking you questions, it's like, if you come up with a different answer, it's going to make you look like a bit of a sort of like, well, was he lying before or is he lying now? If you come up with a different answer. But so we can ask Sol some questions and then we'll try and get something for you as well. I might have some new ones. So Sol, what's your bucket list person to play with?
Oh, all of them are dead. Everyone's dead that I want to play with.
Yeah. You can have past or present.
Oh, past, present. Oh, I would have loved to perform with. Like Kurt, like Nirvana or something like them.
Kurt Cobain,
them or either someone like Prince. It's completely different dynamic, but one of those two would have been. They're so cool.
Yeah, aren't they just? Yeah. I think Prince was sort of like, I mean, he did an amazing stuff, but I think he was still underrated. I don't think people he wrote so many songs for other bands, so many.
Yeah, he was a
prolific songwriter. And it's a bit like, Justin Timberlake, he writes just shitloads of songs for people, And again, he's quite an underrated, I think he's underrated artist, really, in that sort of genre. So, yeah, I think Prince would be really cool, wouldn't it? It'd be really good.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, and what about a venue to play in? And Tom, you can answer this one as well. As the band Pink Sheep, what venue would you like to play in? Because it's different to the other ones, isn't it? So you can answer differently.
Your answer's different. Go on.
I don't know really. Like with Pink Sheep, I could imagine like after watching Tame Impala at Glastonbury on YouTube, I reckon we could do like a Tame Impala sort of thing, you know, with all like the EDM lights and stuff like that and laser shows.
Yeah.
Just two of us on stage.
Yeah,
that'd be
that
sick.
could work, couldn't it? That could be good, yeah. What do you reckon, Sol?
All right, so don't get me wrong, I've always been a big fan of like the festivals and all of that, but I love like the MTV Unplugged setting, like Eric Clapton, all of that, the whole Unplugged setting. Like you got all the nice flowers and shit around you, the candles. It's recording, it's a nice, clean, quiet sound. I've always wanted to do one of those kind of really well produced acoustic gigs. Like a two-piece perfectly, especially with our stuff.
Okay, that's interesting. So, as sort of as a sort of venue, you want to sort of go like an MTV type video.
Yeah, like the unplugged kind of stuff. So, yeah, like the Eric Clapton kind of scenery for his unplugged.
Yeah.
Gig.
Cool, man. That's good. Okay, cool. Okay. So, what should we ask you now? I'm trying to think of the questions we haven't asked Tom that we can ask you, but I want you to chat away about stuff really. Because we had you and Jack on last week with Living Things, another two-piece band. Different style, obviously. What do you see Pink Sheep achieving? If you sort of like, I mean, what would you like it to achieve? Is there an ambition there, or is it just something for you to do?
I think it's like, to be honest, I just feel like it's just something that we enjoy doing, because I mean, me and Sol originally, we released a single. There is a whole story behind this. Sol will explain. So we released a single called 4 Months on Dope. Then I think in the first like 3 days or something, we got like 1,000 streams or something, which was like insane for us because we were just like mucking around. And we're just like, why not post it up? And then it got 1,000 streams. Then we had to take it down for reasons, so we'll explain later. And I was just a bit like blown away, really, by how many people, like, we got messages back saying this is amazing and all this and stuff. I was like, how is our own music actually liked?
Wow. Well, give yourself some credit. You're both quite talented people, so you know. So that's really good. So tell us the story behind this 4 months of dope then.
All right. Okay. Fine. So, well, let's see. So I think originally started off because this is the second song I think that we had an idea of what we were going to do, because we have one before this without lyrics or anything yet, without melodies. But then this came along and we kind of forgot about that one because it would be easier to record that together in an actual studio. With this one, because the effects were using my voice and stuff, like we could just use my iPhone and record the lyrics in and then send it off. But we recorded the whole song, I think, without She Who Will Not Be Named.
She.
Yeah. So we'll give her a name can be Bob. Right. So we did start the song without Bob. I think it only took us, what was it, 3 days? 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Our part down and completely finish my vocals and the backing bit. It took 3 days for us to do it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of wanted a contrast with the voices, because I'd had this idea that it'd be quite nice to get a female vocalist to kind of contrast against mine. It'd be a lot softer than mine because I'm a hard-edged grunge loser kind of guy, and so I thought it'd be really nice to get this contrast going. And I remembered that one of my old friends who lives in Australia, called Bob, they sang. They're quite a good. They're actually very well, to give credit to them. They're a very good musician. And I hit Bob up and I was like, do you want to do this for us? And she or he was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I was like, sweet. So I'll send you some lyrics over and you just go ham with it. Send us back your lines when you got them. And I wrote the lyrics. See, I don't write lyrics for about a couple of weeks. Then I'll stay up one night and I'll bang out about 4 or 5 different songs, like lyrics for songs that we're going to potentially do. So I bang these out. And I'll get into what the song's about later, but I'll finish this because you have to wrap your head around this. But sent it over, and then Bob sent back everything we needed, and it was fine. It was great. It sounded really good together. And then we put it up, and at the time that we put it up, Bob didn't have a Spotify account, like an artist account. So we like tag Bob underneath, because you know how you got Spotify, you got the name of the song and then whoever it's by underneath.
Credit. Yeah,
so we could add them in because they didn't have a Spotify account. It's like trying to tag someone on Instagram who doesn't have Instagram. It doesn't physically work. And we made that clear to Bob when we did it. Tommy made it especially clear. And Bob was like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. And we promoted the song with Bob in it. Let everyone know that they were in it. They sang all of this. And then all of a sudden, after the third day, the song got taken, like it wasn't available to play. And we had no idea what was going on because we were still waiting for our artist account to get verified, wasn't it? So like, as in we were the owners of the account. So we had no idea what's going on. Everyone's like, what's happening to the song? We went from getting, oh, it sounds sick to gone. Like it's just it's like disappeared from the whole of Spotify. And copyright so we hit Bob. Well, we hit Bob up, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I wanted credit for the song. I'm like, what? At first we were like, what do you mean? You want credit for our song? And then Bob was like, I want my name in the bottom. I'm like, okay, but you just copyright claimed the whole song. Like you're not. You just basically said they've stolen this from me.
Yeah.
Because we weren't the verified owners of the account at the time. Spotify come to us about it. They just took it down. And we were fighting to try and keep it up and stuff. And then at the end of it, we thought,
wow,
screw Bob. We'll do it without Bob.
Yeah, shit, man. That's
Bob only
bad,
took it down from Spotify. That's what is bizarre to me. It was on iTunes, Deezer, or Apple Music, whatever it's called now. Bob only took it down from Spotify.
So that brings me to a little lesson then for everyone who's watching everything. So there's a couple of companies, PPRS, PPS, who are publishers, and if you publish your music through them, I think you pay a one-off flat fee and stuff like that for it. And then once your music's published through that, they can't touch your music. They can't claim rights to it because the first place that Spotify will go to is PPRS. And if it's your song and it's registered to you, then it's like, and this is one of the things I say to a lot of bands and everything, it's really worth you investing that little bit of money into getting into the publishing side of the business. We've got an interview coming up with someone soon who has been in the business, really knows his stuff, and he's going to talk about it's going to help a lot of bands out in what they should do and how they can make money from their songs and all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be a really good interview. It's in a few weeks' time, but it's worth watching. But yeah, I'd always say to bands, make sure you sign up to PRS and PPS and everything, get your stuff published. It's then copyrighted, get your particular numbers attached to the song so that all the credits come up for that as well when someone puts the thing in or Shazams it or whatever. It's worth doing. Anyway. So there you go. So we're going to go and listen to a song of yours now, which is called. It's obviously not doped up for 4 months or whatever. What's the song called?
4 months on Dope by Pink Sheep.
Say again.
4 months on Dope by Pink Sheep. That's the song.
That's the song that you got. That's been taken down. But what song are we going to listen to now?
The new and improved version.
It is that. So it is that song. Awesome. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Well, let's go and listen to that, and then we can hopefully get you back up to well over 1,000 streams. And
you too.
All right. Let's go back and listen to that. Back in 2 secs, guys.
Hey, dude. Can you pass the lighter? Mysteries on repeat, just you and me. We'll walk alone into the unknown. You tell me to do or say. You never get what you wanted to hear before me.
to the feeling that I want the most. Crave the feeling for months on dope. Leave me to die, it's my only wish. Oh God, I miss the sweet, sweet kiss.
What to think or say when I'm around you. I get lost in the world of your imagination, but yet still I can find my way out of this.
I know where you've been, I know who you see, I know all about the things you do. I care for you, you care for me, so let's escape and take this out on me. Said it was either you or her, but you never once made me feel alone. This newfound love of mine is where I like to call my home. 4 months on dope. 4 months on dope. 4 months on. 4 months on dope. 4 months on. 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 4 months
Okay, that was really good. So, okay, guys. So, what's the now we've learnt about the song and its history of publishing rights, copyrights, and all that sort of stuff. What's the actual song about then?
You want me to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on, Sal.
All right. Okay. So, basically, the song that well, obviously the title's self-explanatory. You got to be an idiot not to understand. It's 4 months on a drug, like you got to be sick not to get that. But
Okay.
so I mean, I don't want to like down the mood or anything, but I explain it because a lot of my songs that I write, a lot of the lyrics tend to be a lot more darker, kind of more realistic, pointed to like sappy love songs, because that stuff to me doesn't appeal to me. So the song's actually about. So I know someone who actually passed away from drugs, certain recreational drugs, and I've had my own issues with certain drugs as well and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of use that and my experience with it and what I knew about their experience in the song, and try and, because everyone seems to think it's like when you do this stuff, it's the first time you do it, it's like, yeah, you want to try it, and then it's all of a sudden people don't realize that it really hooks you in, and it's really controlling over you and how you act, the way you react, what it does to your body. It's really damaging. So I kind of want to give someone's perspective of someone who's gone through certain issues and challenges with certain drugs. And so people go into the lyrics and stuff, it's a lot more about trying to, like, the desire not to be alone, like wanting to be happy, all of this, about not wanting, because it's kind of like fighting yourself over trying to get rid of it, but not wanting it to go.
Yeah.
And it relates to the happiness you get with the drugs, the feeling, how addictive they are. But
well, I think the addiction comes with like you hit the nail on the head there. The solitary feeling that you get, that's where your addiction comes from. We're built as human beings to want to be around each other, and very few people can sort of go, I'm going to live a solitary life and I'm fine. But most human beings, the vast majority of human beings we need each other. and we need to be. That's why we're finding isolation quite hard to sort of not see people, because we're a community being, human beings are community animals, and we sort of we love being together. There was an experiment years ago with lab rats, and they put
I remember this. Yeah.
they put a bottle of heroin, diluted heroin, in this thing with one rat and a bottle of water, and the rat chose the heroin and died on it. Just went through, just every time, he never touched the water. Then they put 6 rats in the same cage with the same 2 bottles, one with heroin and one with water, and they never touched the heroin because they had that companionship. And I think that was the thesis was that basically, if you've got each other and companionship and things like this, then you don't need those highs or that addiction sort of thing. But that's where a lot of addiction comes from. The root source is this sort of sense of loneliness and wanting to belong to groups and stuff, And
what I'm saying is it's because like the stuff like is meth, heroin, they burn through your brain. Like it's not something like it physically burns away parts of your brain pathways, neurons and stuff like that make you more subjective to addiction, to depression, mood swings and all of that. And it's really damaging that you can't fix it. But I think what I found is with personal experience as well, it's people think it's taking the drug that's addictive, but it's like the feeling when you first get high, the happiness, it's chasing that. It's the pursuit for happiness, is trying to get that feeling again, which is I think a lot of people get the misconception from that they think it's cool and stuff to do it. With a lot of more the heavier drugs, they think they find it cool and all this, but it's a lot of people just wanting to find solidarity and happiness within something, and they go to whatever's easier. And get hooked on wanting that feeling, and they find out that.
Well, I remember years ago, I had a friend of mine, and we used to smoke a little bit of weed and then go out, and then on a Friday night or a Saturday night. And I think initially we sort of went out and we were doing sort of we'd go out about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and we'd stay out till 1, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, and then come home and everything. And then we realised that one day we were actually just sitting in his room and it was 12:30, and we hadn't gone anywhere because we were still smoking weed and using cocaine, and it's we hadn't gone anywhere. We were just sitting there vegetating together and just just chilling out. And it was well, I thought the idea of this was that we were sort of, that makes us feel a bit happier, and then when we go out we're a bit more outgoing. But actually this is the ironic thing, is that I think it can isolate you back into more loneliness than when you were originally feeling. It's a tricky thing. I mean, some people can use drugs and they can moderate them and use them, and they don't get affected as much, but that's not the majority of people. I think it has quite a damaging effect. And I think, to be honest, one of the worst drugs out there is alcohol, and I see that as being one of the worst drugs, because I think socially it's more disruptive and damaging to society than any of the other drugs that are available.
It's more acceptable.
Huh?
It's more welcomed into the society. It's more acceptable.
Accepted, yeah. Well, because there's a huge tax benefit off of it for the government, for a start. So
yeah.
Yeah. So they're not going to stop the revenue coming in from that, and it's just a socially acceptable drug, but it is really damaging, and you can see quite clearly the amount of families that it wrecks and individuals' lives it wrecks, and then the fights and the problems, and the NHS suffering from Friday night brawls and drunken stuff going on, and car accidents with drink drive. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on, and it's a constant societal problem. So that for me is, I'll just state that's for me the worst drug out there is alcohol. But if you can have a little drink and get a bit happy, then I don't mind that. So okay, well that got really quite intense, didn't it?
I warned you. I did warn you before I opened my mouth.
It's cool though. I think it's good. It's good to talk about those things and to do it. So it's sad to know someone who's passed from it. That is really sad. And so how old were they? Were they young?
20s, early 20s.
Wow, that's really quite sad, isn't it? Whole life ahead of you.
Yeah. He was a musician as well.
Huh?
A musician as well.
Oh wow.
Played guitar everything. Yeah.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that's really bad. Okay, well let's leave that somber note there. We'll try and get back to some sort of happiness if we can.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to ask you now, really. I suppose we go back to some other questions in the, I don't know. Let's ask Tom about sort of like what do you use like this is all technical questions now. What do you use for your producing software? What do you use? Is it Logic or
Logic Pro 10.
Logic Pro 10? Okay. Is that expensive now, or is that like about 200 odd quid or?
200 quid, but I got it for free because my mate airdropped it to me.
Well, you say, I mean, so £200 is like, I don't know if you think £200 is a lot, but I remember when Logic was out, it was about 1,400 quid in its original format. Did you know that? Logic and Alperton and stuff like that were very expensive.
No.
Very expensive things. It's the reason is that because they app versioned it. So once they app version it, the price comes right down because it's really freely available across the board, and it's just as good. It's the same as on my original 2006 Mac that I've got. That came free with Final Cut Express, which is a terrifically powerful video processing software. But at the time that was out, again, that was the Final Cut was, I think it was £2,500 to get Final Cut. But then again, now I think you can get it for, again, probably 200 quid. It's like, that's the standard sort of stuff for it. So you might think £200 a lot of money, but actually it was a lot more money a few years back when it first sort of hit the thing. So okay, so what about this is gonna sound a bit techie and boring, I don't know, but what about mics that you both use? Do you have a particular mic that you use? Is it Rhodes or Shaw's, or are we going to show?
Well, when I want to record my guitar parts, I just use like a little Yeti thing that I've had for about 4 years,
Cool, yeah,
and that works perfectly for me.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I use all stuff, all MIDI things on Logic, really.
Yeah. So it's basically. So have you tried using like because are you both at ACM?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what mics? They must have some decent mics down there, surely. So, and have you noticed a difference between your sort of like pre door and your post door with a decent mic? What happens?
Oh my god, there's the massive. You never appreciate good music until you've had a good mic. Like, you go in thinking, oh yeah, this sounds alright, and then you try out the better mic, and you're like, this sounds even better. And I think there's one thing about the music industry: you can pay cheap for a lot of stuff to help you like record and stuff, but there's a massive gap because the price difference is big, but also the quality is. You can get away from cheaper stuff, but once you use more expensive stuff, you really start to notice the difference.
Well, when State of the Art Studios closed down, I went down to see them, and because they were offering some stuff out, and they were doing some sort of sales on everything, and I was like, oh, if I could get a couple of these mics, these vintage mics and everything, it'd be amazing, if I could get a couple. But they were way above our price range. I think they started about £5,000 per mic, and it was like, oh, I can't afford that. So it's like, but they are beautiful mics, and when you hear what they can do, the sound quality and the warmth that comes from them, you think it's just worth. If you can afford it, it's worth the money. But the trouble is affordability, isn't it? So we ended up of all the stuff they had guitars and amps and all these mics and everything. Basement Door could only afford 10 mic stands from them. So we got 10 mic stands, which were nice mic stands, but that's all we could afford to buy from them, because it was like, it's like, well, I've got to come away with something. So we bought 10 nice mic stands, which are really good ones. But yeah, I'd have loved to have had some of the other stuff. And State of the Arc is now, I don't know what they're calling it now, but it's basically they've remodeled the studios and it's going to open up again. I don't know what they're going to do and how much they're going to charge, but that was quite an expensive studio to go to. But Noel Gallagher recorded there, and quite a few others that are recorded there as well. So it's a nice studio, and it's in a house in Richmond. And basically, the studios were built. The living room was one of the things. Was a massive, great living room, and that was their main sort of room for, you know. And then they do all these booths and bits and pieces. And this beautiful, beautiful sound desk they had to record stuff on. Yeah, they had a lot of very vintage stuff there. A lot of very vintage stuff. So, yeah, it's very. I think they sold a lot of it, and then they used the money to remodel the studio and make it even better than it was. So, we shall see when it opens up again. Cool. Okay, guys. Right. Is there anything you wanna say particularly without swearing or?
Oh,
I knew you'd do that, so.
Follow us on Instagram.
damn it.
So
I mean,
hang on.
yeah,
Go on.
what's your Instagram? What's your Instagram?
Instagram. Oh God, I don't even know.
We'll link it. We'll link it
Wait,
in the
we'll
description.
link it.
We'll link it in the description. So what band were you in that you came to? You've done. You've been in a couple of bands that we've been down at Basement.
Oh yeah.
So what was the last gig you did with us? Was that in the upper room in Kingston?
No,
Or was it in the basement?
did I do with Elysium after we did? Yeah, so I am.
Yes.
Band, so I drum for them now.
Okay, yeah.
With them, and then the first gig I did with you guys, which would have been about 2 years ago, I did with the Circuits in Teddington.
Teddington, yeah. God damn,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
I've
That's amazing,
been
isn't
with
it?
this little guy and his brother.
They just came on the scene out of nowhere, these two, didn't they? Tom and Jack. They
Yeah.
just popped out of nowhere. I was like, well, who are these guys? And they seem to be quite popular with people, you know? So yeah.
That's God blessing. You're popular with ladies, especially Tom.
Yeah. Wonder why that is.
I've been asking that question for years. I still don't understand.
Well, he pays them.
It's a
Do you know
guitarist
that?
thing.
So he pays them. Do you not know that, Sol?
I wasn't aware. Yeah. So I need to get a bit more cash in my pockets then.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's been fun. We shall tie off now, and then we'll get this broadcast out, and it'll be good. And we'll there'll be a live chat as well. And we look forward to having you down as a band. And I'm going to bring back the UI-24 back to my home here at some point, and make sure I'm still in touch with the tech, make sure all the levels are set, because I can't remember where we've left the EQs on it or anything, so I need to just check them and make sure that we flatten out the EQs and look at some of the settings and everything and make sure they're right, so that when we go back in we don't blow some speaker up or guitar amp or something.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'm trying to get back I'm actually trying to get back the speakers that Pete Townsend gave us, which we donated back to the church. And they're still sitting there. I'm going, man, if we could have those back, it'd be nice as a supplement system, you know, it's got a nice big amp with it and everything, you know.
They're not using them. They're just left there.
They're just sitting there gathering dust at the moment. They were going to sell them to raise some funds and everything, but they've not been able to do it. And I think it's because it is an older system. I mean, it's got a nice sound. It's an older system, but I think if we used it in conjunction with our new JBL, because it's a JBL Crown system.
Yeah.
And if we used it in conjunction with our new one, we could get some real nice driving bass, and it could be really quite cool. But yeah. So anyway, we'll try and do that at some point. See if we can get it back. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for doing this. The post is up, so you can advertise it out, and then hopefully we get a load of viewers on Wednesday nights. This is ruining the illusion of live, isn't it, when I say things like this?
Yeah. It is live. It's happening right now.
So yeah, we're live right now, coming in your living rooms. That's the wrong thing to say. Guys, we'll speak to you soon, and hopefully we get you down to do a gig with us, and yeah, we'll put your links into the description, and we'll get it sorted. Okay. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers.